So here's what I'm fixing. The clutch in this saw is fine, but the bell and sprocket assembly, you can tell there's some serious wear marks in it because the last people to use this saw just decided to crank the chain down as tight as it would go and run the dog mess out of it all day, cutting through logs that were twice the diameter of the blade. Well, I like to baby my stuff, so maybe to some of y'all that's not a big deal, but to me it's very aggravating. You can see just how messed up they had everything. Here in the plastic guard, you can see where the chain's been wearing away at it, and yeah, just this thing was ran hard and not exactly cared for, so that's why I'm here. Matched all of these up. This is the new sprocket. This is just an Amazon special. It's nothing too fancy. This is it's actually, believe it or not, a Husqvarna part apparently, but they had it labeled for a Poulan Pro PP4218. It's very hard, at least in the research I did, to find the exact number, which is PP4218A or PP4218A. 4218 would be the proper way because it's a 42cc saw with an 18-inch blade. And finding the A tagged on the end of it is seemingly impossible, at least from the research I did. Now maybe I did the wrong research, but this was marked as fitting a PP4218, and it's the same size, it is the same inner diameter, everything like that, and it's got the same tooth count. It's even got the same little well, you got 3-8. It's got that on that one there too, so it should work. Everything looks like it lines up. Hopefully everything's good. This saw realistically is not being fully repaired right now because it also needs a new blade and a new chain, because this chain's been put in the dirt, it's been taken through all kinds of stuff. Nothing has really been taken care of. I'm sure at one point it was ran with no oil in the chain lubrication system, because I mean, you can tell it's not the worst one I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen them like discolored from heat, but you can tell where on the tip it was actually wearing into the bar, which means the chain was way too tight or it had nowhere near enough lubrication on the chain. So realistically, to fix everything that's wrong with it, it needs a new bar and chain as well. But just to get it up and running, we'll go out and cut some stuff. So some of y'all may think that the grooves on this are meant to hold your chain in place. They're not. That's what this washer is for. It goes over that like that to hold the chain on the sprocket. This is supposed to be, if you look at these two, see how this one's all gnarled up, right? And that one's nice and smooth. This is how it's supposed to look. That is entirely too much wear and tear, and this should have been replaced long ago, but people kept using it until it got to the point where it was so bad that the chain would jump. So yeah, lack of maintenance, lack of care. Put that on there, make sure all the bearings good, there's no rattling or space, because they do sell these in a different inner dimension, like dimensions. So sometimes you'll have a larger output shaft here, so they do sell them different sizes, but this one fits. Everything seems to fit good. We've got that goes on next, and then I have it here somewhere. There it is. This little E-clip, C-clip, whatever it's called. We're just gonna pinch that on there with a pair of pliers. Those might be a bit too big. Try to get it with, here we go. There we go. Soak those in WD-40. I found these outside a few days ago. Put that on there. I need a pair of needle nose for it, and I don't remember where I put mine. Alright, got my needle nose. I actually found something else as well. Check this out. Y'all remember I showed you this cover here, how it's been cut into and worn away? Check this out. I'll show you how misused this saw was. That has been sliced into by not the teeth on the blade, the bottom part or the side or something's been rubbing against this. So this saw has definitely not been, like, it's not had a fun life. Somebody was very rough and abusive to it, because I don't think that under normal circumstances is normal wear and tear. I could be wrong, but I just don't think it is. Okay, get the C-clip on here, or E-clip, or whatever it's called. Calling them E-clips just doesn't sound right, because it reminds me of the old Mitsubishi. Alright, so we got the clutch bell on, clutch bell and sprocket, and the little guard dill, and the little C-clip. That's all on there. Now, let me run some stuff by you real quick, because I don't remember where I left off in this. Honestly, this video has been filmed over multiple months. It actually started last year during 2022. It's 2023 now. So, yeah, it's been a long time since I've got this thing. I actually took it outside and started it up and tuned it a little bit. But that was months ago, and it was like 80, 90 degrees outside, and now it's like low 70s, high 60s. So it may have to be retuned when we do take it out. But I tried to cut something with this old bar and chain. I got the bar sitting over here. But this chain is so dull that it literally took not a short amount of time to cut through a 2-inch sapling. It's like cutting steak with a butter knife. It was not easy. I decided, let's scrap that footage and buy me a bar and chain. So I don't remember where it was in the video that I said it, but I said that the reason that this sprocket here was so worn was because some idiot tightened it up too much and just ran it tight as it could be. I don't think that's the case. What actually happened is that this chain here is either the wrong pitch, which, for lack of a better term, it's the location of these little shark fin looking things here on the bottom of the chain, or it has stretched so much that the pitch has changed, and that's what ate these up. Because if you can imagine it being on the saw, these little shark fin things on the bottom mesh in between the teeth like that, and when they stretch, you get it to where it doesn't mesh right. And this was all brought to my attention by a friend of mine who I was questioning about chainsaws, and very knowledgeable guy, helped me a lot. But with it on the saw, when you rotate this, you can actually feel the chain on the bar get tighter and looser, which is not a good thing. So I think the chain is the wrong pitch, or it has worn to the point where it stretched too much, and that's what caused it to eat into this this sprocket how it did. So what I went and did was run to the Home Depot and got me a brand new bar and chain. The bar is from Poulan. I don't know about their quality, but I can tell you I was looking at an Echo bar, which was as heavy as this bar is without the chain. Like, sorry about all the noise. My cats are running around. I have started taking care of 5 abandoned kittens also in 2022, and they have grown to almost full-size cats now, so they make quite a bit of noise. But anyways, it's a Poulan bar, and I can't remember the brand of the chain, but it's a 3/8 low-profile chain. Unfortunately, I could not find a skip chain like my friend recommended me, and apparently those cut way better. These things from the factory come with like safety chains, and they don't cut very good at all, apparently. So I couldn't find a skip chain, and I'm not going to a specialty shop to get one. So 3/8 low profile chain, brand new bar, and we're going to go ahead and install all of this, and then we'll take it out, run it, and see how it cuts. So this is a pretty easy thing to do if you're not familiar with it. Basically, I put the chain on the bar and make sure that we are facing in the right direction. If you ever question whether you've got it on right, this saw actually has some dills here, and you can see with the little hook shaped ones, these are your sharp teeth, and that's these right up here. All you really have to do is go and find your sharp piece, and remember that the top of the blade, the sharp edge goes away from you when it turns. All right, top edge goes this way, and your sharp teeth go that way too, because the way the saw spins. The bottom of the blade always cuts towards you so that you can put the chain up against what you're cutting, and it won't try to pull the chain saw out of your hand. So either top or bottom. I use top, but you could use bottom as well. Again, if you know where your sharp edges are, on top they go away, on bottom they come towards you. So just kind of keep that in mind. And we're going to slot it into the blade like so. Going to put it on here, pull it all the way back, put it around that, and then do that. And then this has an adjustment tab, or it's an adjustment screw with a tab on it, I should say. That goes through one of these holes here, depending on how your saw is set up. On mine, it's on the bottom. Some saws, I think, are a little different. But if it doesn't line up, just adjust your screw until it pops into place. And we're going to put the nuts on. Yeah. We're not going to tighten them down all the way. Just going to get them kind of snug. We want the bar to still be a little loose in here so that we can tension the chain. And I'll show you all a little trick with this whenever I get to the point of doing it. So you see how this bar moves up and down, right? On some saws it won't happen. My neighbor has an electric saw, and this bar has no play on that. But if your bar does have play, that actually feels like quite a bit. But anyways, if your saw bar has play, what you're going to want to do is pick it up, right? So to get you a better view of this, you're going to want to pick it up when you tighten it, because with the way these work, and I'll show you this actually, so check this out. This screw here tightens it up. All right, so fell out of its chain, or fell out of the bar. Give me just a second here. I wasn't paying attention to that. There we go. Is that better? Yeah, that's better. All right, so watch the gap in the bottom of the chain. See that open up? If you tighten it with it like that, the second you put this on a piece of wood and start sawing, this blade's going to move up and it's going to loosen your chain. So always pull up onto this and then tighten your screw here. And there's people out there who will tell you that you got to get this a certain tightness, you got to do this, you got to do that. I usually tighten it until there's just a little bit of snap to it. All right, and if that worries some people, then you can back it off a little bit. And kind of just find that little happy spot where it's got just a little bit of snap to it, but it's not hanging, right? After all, you don't want to tighten these things up too much because there's no bearings along here or on the bottom. You have a support at the end here. If I can get it on camera. There we go. There we go. We've got a support on the end here that helps the chain roll, and we've got the sprocket back here. This chain runs along this metal bar, so it is literally metal on metal, and the only thing that lubricates it is your lubrication stuff back here. So if you do run this super tight, or you run it without oil, you've got the whole weight of the saw plus whatever you're pushing down or whatever on this chain, forcing it into this bar. You don't want it super tight, but you also don't want it super loose, right? So just keep that in mind. Pick up on this. Give it a little clock. There we go. And the same tool I'm going to use while still pulling up on this to tighten up these nuts here. I don't know if there's any order to do these nuts in. I just do whichever one the wrench lands on first. These you can torque on a little bit, but don't go nuts with them. That's it. Chain's on. Rolls freely. It's got a nice bit of snap to it there. I think we're good. So let me get this thing outside. May have to do a bit of tuning on it because last time I ran it was a few months back, and temperature has changed significantly since then. It was probably 80 or 90 out, and now it's, you know, high 60s, low 70s. So it may need a bit of tuning. Alright, so we're going to see if we can't get it started here. Let's see. I can't remember how to work it. Choke all the way on, power on. And there's also a primer bubble, which I have apparently forgotten about for the millionth time. Alright, now let's try this. There we go. Blip the throttle, go down to half choke. What I was doing there was just leaning off the high end just a hair so that I could get a little more RPM out of it. Last time I tuned it very rich on top end because I don't like my lawn equipment to scream its guts out. Everybody's always told me that things like weed eaters and chainsaws, they should 4-stroke a bit on top end, which is basically what you're hearing there. It doesn't scream. It kind of limits its RPM through, I guess you could consider it running rich. So that's what I was doing there, was just getting a little more RPM out of it, but still have it at 4-stroke at the top end. So one thing I want to show y'all is this, which is your blade stop. What that does is, if you have a kickback, that snaps and it stops your chain. It tightens the band around your clutch in there. So I always like to have it to where if I do this, that chain stop clicks. I can't tell you how many people I've seen with saws that you can't get that to click by moving the saw down like that. So let's go see how she cuts with the new bar and chain. I made short work of all that. Take y'all over there. I know it's not a very good view, but again, my last video I mentioned that my tripod broke, so I just set y'all up on a stump. But I'll go look at nothing too insanely thick, but for around here, this is what you usually run into. So yeah, it cut through that pretty well. I would say. Plenty of plenty for around here. Should also mention that's a 42cc saw and it was bogging on that, so I I may have to do a little more tuning on it. Let's or not bogging, but it just didn't have a whole lot of power. There's a pretty big one right there. See it? Say it does a pretty good job of it. You hear me bog it down a few times. Again, I think I just need to get a little more power out of it through tuning. Muffler's over here smoking, because all the oil built up in it. I have to take that apart and check that as well. According to a guy, the guy I talked to about the chain and stuff, there's a couple of things you can do to those mufflers to get some more power out of them. So it might be an interesting endeavor. I think it's just burning off all the unburnt oil. Ooh, yeah, it's just burning oil. All right, well, I guess I could see if there's anything else we could cut down. Let's go look. All right, so these little trees here, you can't see exactly how tall they are, but they're taller than I am. They're probably, I don't know, 15, 20 feet tall. And they've just been an eyesore for a while, so down they go. Oh, really? Damn. Somehow I threw the chain. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably my fault. It's not burning hot though, so that's a good thing. Should be an easy fix. Back together. Let's try and see if we can't get through this final tree here. It could have also been that when that tree leaned over, it pinched the chain and tore it off. So maybe just a weird little thing. Cut through them pretty good. Like that. Nice. Now all I have to do is drag these right here off. So yeah, I think it's running pretty good. I like the chain so far, other than that little popping off incident we had there. So that's nice. That thing has been down for years now, and I just haven't gotten around to getting the parts in for it. So there we go. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully this helps some of y'all. If you already know what you're doing, hopefully you enjoy my stupidity. And I'll see y'all next time.